Donald Trump is a hypocrite who can't be trusted with power. He claims to oppose bad trade deals, but he'd probably flip-flop and support the horrible corporatist TPP and NAFTA if it meant he'd get more power and attention. He may support medical marijuana and maybe legalization, but he's given no indication he'll stop the feudal drug war overall, meaning the corruption, violence, and oppression it's caused will continue. He keeps saying police need more power and more military weapons. And then, of course, there's the fact that he's utterly reckless. Who cares if he knows the Iraq war was a mistake? He has repeatedly indicated he wants to ramp up military activity to stop ISIS, when that's what created ISIS in the first place. He's done shady business with regimes that repress human rights, women, and gays, abusing his powerful position to benefit his own interests. Can't you just see him acting like a dictator and ousting elected leaders if he were having a particularly megalomaniacal week?
I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and I wouldn't lose any voters, okay?
He'd probably back violent coups just to get right-wing nutjobs like himself into power. Even right now, he's ignoring the will of the people, a majority of whom can't stand him, just so he can seize power he's craved for decades. I wouldn't put it past him to rig the vote if he could. He is bad, bad, bad for America. But what if I told you? Hillary Clinton is the one who supported NAFTA and the TPP, and she repeatedly shows her corporate loyalties. But don't for a second accuse me of being a Trump supporter, either by choice or by default. While Trump has said he supports working toward the legalization of cannabis and supports medical marijuana, just like Hillary Clinton, neither has indicated they'll put an end to the foundational policies of the failed war on drugs, meaning the police state Trump wants to expand will continue no matter who is elected. Trump and Hillary support decimating the Middle East with rampant jingoism. Though Trump has talked shamefully about taking out the families of suspected terrorists, Hillary has endorsed exactly that with her shameless support of Obama's drone program. Trump does do business with people in human rights violating countries like Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates, but as Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton facilitated weapons deals to those repressive regimes who donated millions of dollars to the Clinton Foundation and are now using the weapons she gave them to kill men, women, and children in Yemen. This means a woman who claims to care about women's and LGBT rights has directly empowered regimes that brutally oppress women and LGBT individuals. Both Hillary and Donald are incompetent, yet she directly enabled the Iraq War, then admitted it was a mistake, then recklessly repeated that exact same mistake in Libya and wants to repeat it in Syria. It's also Hillary who backed a right-wing coup in Honduras to protect American corporations. Though Trump talks about doing horrible, arguably fascist things like strengthening the police with military weapons and violating people's civil rights and liberties, Hillary Clinton's violent abuses of power and ties to special interests make her a corporate fascist on all counts. And finally, both Trump and Hillary are so narcissistic and power-hungry they ignore the 58% of Americans who can't stand them. But it's Hillary who, with the help of the DNC, manipulated the political process and the media to make sure she ascends to her long-coveted throne in the White House. Do you see how easy it is to blur the policies, character traits, and recklessness of the two options your overlords have given you in 2016? Listen up, Hillary supporters, whether you genuinely like her or are just terrified of Donald Trump. If you cared enough to be even marginally informed about current events, you would know that Hillary Clinton's policies and actions have directly contributed to the conditions that gave rise to him. From the bad trade deals and violent drug war, which sparked waves of undocumented immigration, to the ongoing war on terror that inspires victims of American violence to wage terror attacks in the West, she directly helped create a society ripe for the demagoguery, Islamophobia, and authoritarianism of Trump, and his movement will only grow if she's elected. Neither of them is fit to rule, and I refuse to tolerate blind rhetoric from either side demanding that I be moral by voting for one of two immoral candidates. There are plenty of ways to change the world, like building societal infrastructure outside the confines of the government and the established order. So don't lecture me because you're too locked into the matrix to see beyond it. I guess what I'm saying is, there's the fanaticism of Donald Trump, and then there's the fanaticism of people so terrified of Donald Trump, they'll rationalize voting for a warmongering sociopathic criminal. And if you fall into one of those categories, you're the problem, not me.